Hi. Good day. Good afternoon. I suppose good evening for our for the folks joining us today. We got one in. Well, I don't know for sure. Are you in France right now? Valentin? Valentin? I kind of assume you are. It ended? You can do that? What just happened here? How did it end? Is that a thing that can happen? What? Did I press spacebar? Did I click somewhere? It's a loop. I don't know. What happened there? Who knows? Who knows? Well, okay, yeah, you are in France. There you go. And Tomi is in Finland. So this noon time is working out well, it would seem. It would seem. I feel like I'm high up here. Am I high up? 1 second. Maybe I'm not. Maybe it's all fine. I'm just panicking. Finland, yep. All right, yeah, so good evening. Bonne soirée and hyvää iltaa. Is that right? Hyvää iltaa? Hyvää iltaa. I hope that's right. I think that's right. Or is it hyvää yötä? That's like good night, right? Not good evening. Yötä? Yötä? Yeah, my Finnish is not very good. It's pretty scant. Well, good evening anyways, everyone. Something's off. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're good. Okay. Yeah, hey. So we are doing some more real talk. Let's do it. Everyone rolling in. We got Ray Barron calling out the Darkest Dungeon right away. What's up, Ray? Good to see ya. Barney Oram, yo. Sergio. We got MCS Sound. Is that Murray Cameron Smith? That wasn't your handle previously, was it? Did you change it? MCS. It was like Mercam Smith before, wasn't it? He's throwing me curveballs here. I got Brittany, hey, Jeff Bryce, yo. Edward's back after a strong showing 2 weeks back. Yeah, by the way, Edward, just in case you're curious, we had all those like stream issues last time around, and I think what I'm gonna do, I downloaded like the chunks of video, like the not highlight, but the past broadcast chunks that Twitch, made available to me, and I'll probably do like a real just, quick and dirty edit to throw on YouTube, and that'll be, a little easier to watch if you want to see it again or review or anything. But there you go. Yeah, and otherwise, we got Turi Makes Music. I know that handle. I think you've been here before, I believe, right? What's your deal, Turi Makes Music? It seems you make music. Shagans, again. Greetings, salutation, what's up? Josh Adam Bell. Vietnam flashbacks. With this music? What are you talking about? Like from playing the game and being brutalized, traumatized? Yeah. Just getting wrecked, exactly. Oh. Okay, Natasha, good morning. Not quite good Arvo. We got Justin. Thanks for that retweet, buddy, as always. Hope you're doing well. Alex Golunga. Holy. A lot of good folks in here. Derek Does Sound. Alex Barnhart. There's so many Barnes in here right now. You got the Barnes. I think our own Craig Stegman Barnes is working right now, though. So, one barn fewer than it could be. Is there a Lewis Barn in here? There's a lot of good Barnes in audio. Who knew? Who knew? NJ Patrick. Hey, I finally caught the stream. Thanks for catering to the Euro folks. Yeah, I'm digging the noon time, honestly. It ended again. Is this a thing that happens? I had no idea this is a thing that happened. What's going on here? Play variance 0 or... Oh, probability is low. Why is... This seems like a bug. Is this in the game right now? You can just end and then... I thought for sure. Did we change this at some point? Because I don't even know what this is. This is a long time ago. I feel like I might know, but just don't realize it. Yeah, of course, this is the Darkest Dungeon Town music. I can see here we have... there's a loop play variance. Yeah, we'd randomize this 1 or 0 each time, I think. And it would like play the tunes, like the different parts of the track in a different order. But then here we have a probability of 30 and 30. So it's possible to hit neither of those. That's why it's ending. Well, who knows? Anyways. Yeah, so I was saying I'm digging the noontime. It's working. Have a kind of an easy morning, get like a few tasks done, and then jump into this, have a lunch, have a little break, even a little nap. It's kind of exhausting being on stage for a little while, you know? So that's a little better. I feel like I'm off center here too. What's going on? Did this move? 1 second. Is that better? Yeah. Something happened here. I don't know. Something is off. It feels off compared to how it usually feels. Something's going on. Oh well. Oh well. Okay, Iltal was right. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for clarification. Yeah, I'm glad this is I'm just gonna do this right now. I'm doing it 100%. I won't save. It's okay, just in case it's supposed to be like that, and we ever build this again. And then it doesn't even go. What is going on here? Play. What is happening? Why? Is it not at 0 something? We're now just doing QA on this instead. That's what we're doing. This is what we're doing now. Oh, okay. Well, I have no answer for this, and it's not worth the time right now. So whatever. Anyways, more importantly, Dungeon 2 is ongoing. We're making real good progress. It's I have nothing to share with you right now, but I've just been on a very Darkest Dungeon 2 state of mind lately, so I figured I'd put some Darkest Dungeon tunes on, you know? And in fact, let's just watch this trailer really quick, because I'm really proud of how the team brought it all together, the entire team. Whoa, full screen, please. Let's do.
You were right to fear the world. It has gone mad. The gutters brim with poets, and decency lies burning in the street. But this is not a time for heroes. Look instead to those battered souls who have known fear and failure in ample portion, but rise again to reclaim a glimmer of hope from the spreading stain of the Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah. I'm jacked to show more of that eventually, soon. I mean, you know, soon-ish. 2021, you know, soon. We're getting there. Anyway. Yes, Jeff, QA never ends. Exactly. What the heck, right? Finding bugs years later. If it even is a bug, who knows? I feel like I'm just doing something weird there. Who knows? Anyway, though, so, just a heads up, if you do want to keep track of kind of how things are going with the game and such, you can follow the Darkest Dungeon Discord right there. I'll throw a link in the chat if anyone's curious just to be part of the community or learn new things or whatever. That might be where you want to go. Josh, you may want to steer clear. Steer clear. Don't have any more flashbacks. Don't do it. Steer clear. Okay, we got a couple people to look at here today. Let's do. So we've got Valentin Cochet, and we have Tomi Porkka. And oh, it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it. I actually glanced at your Twitter real quick, and whoa, the retweet. What's up? And see this? Look at this guy. Sound design. Let's go. It's very quiet. One more time. Okay. Yeah. That's nice. Very nice. He spelled project wrong? Did he? Did he? Or is he just French? You North American? Or wait, where are you even from? You from London? I can't recall where you're from. Sorry, Edward. This looks French as projet. Projet, man. Well, projects. It's okay. We have an English thing here. See? So we can, we got projects. Don't you worry. We're all good. It's fine. Yeah. French and English. Don't translate? We don't have to, because Valentin has been very, very helpful. Got me scared. No, you're all good. Don't worry. Just on the off chance that some folks have rolled in and you're new to this stream, this is Real Talk. We're having a look at some up and coming game audio folks looking to find some more traction in whatever corner of the industry they're trying to find traction in. If it's the indie space or AAA space or working in a studio like ours or whatever. And yeah, just trying to give some constructive feedback to help them along, all in the interest of helping them, in the effort of landing that first gig or just more gigs, potentially. So we're doing that by looking at these things down below. We're looking for presentation, material selection, content quality, and distinction. For presentation, we're looking at the site on the whole, how things look, how things, what things seem important and attract the eye and make me want to click, and if there is too much information or not enough information. Real basic stuff. We're not looking to critique the web design too much, just general navigation and like importance and information, that kind of stuff. And for the reel itself, we're looking at like how long it is and how it flows and the titling therein as well for information if it's too much or too little. Basically everything apart from how the thing actually sounds. And for the material selection, we're thinking about what pieces appear in the demo reel itself, in the show reel in this case, and or also in the portfolio, and what these various pieces might suggest to anyone about what this person might be looking to get into, what their past work history looks like, what their skill sets are, all that good stuff. And realizing, I'll just quick aside, I am going in blind, as I believe probably most people in chat are. I'll have a look, perhaps for the first time for a few people, like that Twitter thing that was like, I saw that just before the stream, and that's all I've seen of, for example, Valentin's work. So yeah, we're going in blind, and that's kind of to best emulate what a first impression might look like in the situation of like a job application, right? If you throw your reel into a team like Blizzard or something and you don't hear back, you might not know why that is, because they got hundreds of applications very likely, and they just simply don't have time to give feedback to everyone and tell you why you didn't make the cut. So going in blind to kind of best get a gist for like, where are our eyes drawn to, and like, what do we watch first, and what do we want to do next, and do they allow us to do that? Do they have the thing we want to see next? Is it available to us? All those considerations. Next up, content quality. Just, is it good? Like, is this content up to snuff as far as what the current industry standard of awesome looks like? Could you hang with the devs you're looking to work with? Basically, you're aspiring to work with. And finally, distinction. Are you standing out in some positive way? And right now, it seems like people in the chat love your orange. The orange it's a hit. I do agree. This is looking good. Even back here is nice detail. Like back here with the color palette on the orange to the kind of reddish. It's nice. Yeah. Immediately. I mean, before we've done anything, there's already this kind of positive impression that seems like you've put some consideration into what you're doing. So, given we're kind of already using Valentin's work as a guide, as we're talking about the criteria, we might as well go ahead and jump in. Chris J. Rigodon. Welcome on in. It's a new name. I'm not sure I know that name. Hope you enjoy yourself. Let's have a look at some work from Valentin Cochet, shall we? So, English or French is the question. Let's do the bio in French. Just out of respect to you. I hope your bio's not in French, Tomi, because I can't. That would be that'd be rough. Trying to sight read Finnish is not going to go well. Valentin? No, it's well. I mean, okay. So Canada is bilingual, right? I mean, Canada as a country is bilingual. I am absolutely not bilingual. We have to. Canadian children have to learn French up to, geez, is it grade 6 or grade 7 or something? Yeah, grade 6, I think you have to. It's like part of the curriculum. And then beyond that, it's like an optional thing that you can keep taking in school. Grade 6, says my brother. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Colin. What up? Yeah, junior high is an option, as is high school. Yeah, so, and the thing is, like, growing up in rural Alberta, like, no one's speaking French. There's a couple towns here and there that are like, were first settled by French people and therefore have like French signage and stuff just over the history of the town. But it's not like I was using French going to like Dairy Queen in Devon, Alberta. That's not a thing I was doing. So yeah, our French, I think, Colin, your French is probably just as bad as mine is, honestly. It's just never use. You don't use it, you lose it, right? But without further ado, let's read this French bio real poorly. Let's do it. All right, Valentin. Salut! Merci de visiter mon site. Je m'appelle Valentin et suis originaire de Rennes en Bretagne. J'ai toujours été passionné par les jeux vidéo, la musique, le cinéma et plus récemment par le sound design. I can say that part. There, no problem. Je suis activement en recherche d'emploi dans le domaine du jeu vidéo en tant que sound designer. Plus particulièrement, long word, particulièrement dans le développement de titres AAA. AAA, I can say that part right too, no problem. Vous pouvez me joindre? Vous pouvez me joindre par emails, téléphone ou sur mes différents réseaux sociaux. Oh my God. Well, cutting that out of the highlight. Let's move on. English page. Here we go. All right. Hi. Thanks for visiting my website. My name is Valentin, and I am from Rennes in France. Don't clap. Slow clap at best. I have always been passionate about video games, music, cinema, and more recently, sound design. I'm actively looking for a job in the video game industry as a sound designer, more specifically in the development of AAA titles. You can reach me by emails, phone, or on my various social networks. For the record, I didn't know this is what that French meant. So at least there's that. I did internalize all of this while reading the French stuff. So there is that at least. Oh my God, rough. Real small note, missed a space right here. I saw that. Extremely small, little nitpicky nuance. Okay, sure. I mean, I do, just on the bio quickly, I mean, we're always fans of seeing a little more about you specifically when it comes to a bio. Like, what kind of things you've done in the audio sphere, or what kind of like specific things you like doing, like specifically. So like this one, this entire sentence here is the kind of thing that could apply to a lot of people, like if there is a job posting at some company, and I think I saw Valorant in your redesigns, right? So yeah, if there's like some Riot Games posting or whatever. I mean, this could be applied to basically like everyone applying for the gig, right? So, yeah, a little more would be worthwhile, I think. But yeah, writing bios is tough. Like, I hate my bio is so out of date and it's bad, so I can't really talk. But yeah, it might be a consideration there. Just a small thing. What you have is like, it's fine. It's not going to be a plus, is all. You know, it's like it's just sort of whatever. But things like knowing you're in France is relevant, because that's the kind of thing that AAA teams, especially, like when AAA teams are looking to hire and they have, you know, tons of applications in from various people around the world, there is oftentimes someone in like a recruitment department who is going through the applications as like a first pass kind of screening process. And they might look for things like, oh, do they have shipped titles? Do they have, you know, X years experience in the industry? Do they have, like, can they work in this country legally? Like, are they distant? Are they here in town? Like, whatever, right? And this kind of thing might come up if you're like, you know, if you're applying to a company in France, especially like Ubisoft or something like that, then that might look really good. So good to know that kind of thing, at least. Yeah. So Josh says they'll know you don't need a work permit to work in the EU, which is good. Exactly. So this is definitely relevant, and this is excellent. This is why bios are great to have, because, you know, they can allow you to learn a little more at a glance, especially when it comes to these kind of like very important bullet points that might be very important for a given AAA studio. So scrolling down, what we got? We got this is a vertical page. There's no like header or anything. It's just sort of a long page. So we got projects. South of Heaven is a micro game that I made using Unity in order to learn more about game design, programming, and sound integration. Awesome. I designed every sound, no S here, every sound for the different elements of the micro game and used Wise to implement them. Kill off that S. Yeah, I mean, you're in France, so I think people give you a pass for English typos. That's not a big deal. Oh, Josh, yes, cries in British, poor guy. And then we have a small explanatory video, which illustrates how I created through Wise the sound design of the combo mechanic. This is a strange sentence. How I created the sound design of the combo mechanic for South of Heaven. I would put like using Wise at the end of this sentence instead, rather than through Wise. It's a little odd. Yeah, again, just like French, English stuff. So, okay, we have various things. We got Valorant, Batman, Arkham Knight. These are things we'll probably see in the show reel, I suspect. Cube. Classic. Haven't seen Cube in a while. Let's zoom out. We're a bit too zoomed in. We're cutting things off a bit. Yeah, Cube gameplay demo, for which I created sound effects and did the sound integration. These lines are going crazy too at nearer zoom in. See this? So 100%. It's looking pretty good. It's still kind of weird, actually. What's happening here? 100%. I'm reloading this. Yeah, so short films, there's like these two lines, I guess, make sense, kind of. But if I zoom in, they go nuts. They like converge and then go beyond. Small consideration. Okay, so film stuff as like a, by the way, also this, but this is definitely very heavily game focused. So cool. That's it. We got some links here. The YouTube link, does it work? It does. There's things here, many things here. Jeez. Cool. I'm used to clicking YouTube links and seeing like one or two things. Whoa, Deus Ex trailer. Sweet. Let's go. Oh, get out of here. And then we got, okay, we got a reel. Let's watch a reel. Make sure I'm all turned up. Turn off that sidechain, please. Okay. Yeah, the newer Wise adventure game. Is that like that, the 3D one I keep seeing? Like the one that's feeded? Is that right? It was like the I'm just, oh, I don't know the games. Where's the games? I'm on the wrong page. Show me your game stuff, man. Ugh. There's a separate link for his game stuff. I know there is. Is it /games? I think it is. Yes. Here we go. I'm sorry, transient gamers, if you're in the chat. I apologize. This one here? This is the one, right? Is that like a Wise specific thing? I didn't even know that. I've seen it a few times, but I didn't really know. I didn't look into it specifically. Oh, it's not it. It's cartoony. Well, okay, well, I'll have to look into that. I'm sure I've seen it, just don't realize what it is. Anyway, okay, so let's watch this thing. Let's watch together. Yes, News Ensemble. Let's do it.
In 50 meters, turn left on Fox Street.
Scary. No baseball this time. That's good. Sorry, last time we had like this massive wall of baseball links. Like 1 in a million hits or hit highlights or whatever. Yeah. Thanks. Awesome. Really strong. Really strong. Yeah, I feel like I wanted to see more, which is a good thing, certainly. Let's watch it one more time from the beginning. This title card was cool. And this stuff was slick also. All around, solid. Josh says that went by quickly, which is good, I think. Yeah, a few of the clips I feel like were a bit too short for my liking personally, but I don't know. Arguable. On the whole, it flowed well. Just I felt like it increased in. It had like this acceleration towards the finish line. It felt like, kind of, until this very end where it dropped off entirely. But okay, yeah. So presentation wise, 56 seconds is around a good time. Your work is strong enough. You could probably pump it a little more. Honestly, I often say that it's tough for people to justify more than a minute when they're at a state of looking for work because, or rather, I should say, looking for work for the first time. Just because the more experience one has, the more one can justify a longer reel, because you simply just have more interesting things to share, right? If you have like a 10-year career and you're looking for a gig in some large studio in like a higher up position, you can send a freaking TED Talk as your application reel, like that's going to be relevant and interesting to see. But when you're starting out, yeah, typically it's like you haven't done enough that warrants more than a minute. So that said, though, as far as flow goes, we have like a 15-second intro. Well, intro, not intro. So we have like a 2-second intro, 3-second intro, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. And then we have about 12-ish seconds on this guy. And then we have, I'm going to go sidechain again too. And then we have roughly, 14? Sorry, I guess 12 more seconds on the Batman. And then we have, on this guy, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 7 seconds. And then here we got 6 seconds. So these two, I felt like I know why you put them in, but they did feel like they didn't feel the same as your other content. Your other content was showing things kind of in context. They are linear, mind you. So I do appreciate the gameplay perspective here, like the in-game shot rather than the cutscene or something, right? I get that. But I'm more a fan of seeing how you tell a story in gameplay as opposed to having these like disparate sounds in isolation. And there is, I do like the fact like this one here. Sounds cool, you know, like good job. The tear off especially is really nice. I love that. This year the purple tear off. Oh, that like the very end is so nice. You hear that? The very end of this tear, that high pitched like little. Oh, really nice. That shows some maturity in your sound design right there. Really good. It's all too easy to see someone up and coming would redesign this and I go like, and that's it, just unchanging. That little detail is very, very nice. Yeah, it's cool. We'll get into content stuff later, but just in general, yeah, there's a story here, sure, but it's like this kind of contained story of we opened a thing, right? We opened this pack, and then that's it. But it's not without value. But I just still think that the slightly longer clips of like navigating like into the menu or like through different parts of a menu, just they do a better job of illustrating how like your own sensibilities for gameplay and for game sound design. Because yeah, you've got like some really strong work here in the linear content, really strong. I was gripped. You held my attention for sure. And I think applying that same aptitude for storytelling to gameplay would be like, oh, so strong. Because here, I mean, what's the story here, you know? Like gun out and shoot. It's not really an interesting story. Again, like sounds pretty cool. Good job. But we're now talking about like nuance and like how to boost your stuff like even more yet, you know? Again, I'm not, this comes up all the time. This stream is not as much about like how to make your stuff better specifically. It's actually, the stream is about how to best increase your chances of getting the gig, right? So what we're talking about here is not just making your stuff better, because your stuff is strong. It's about like how am I going to measure up against everyone else who's vying for the same gigs? And if you have this reel which is strong, is it the strongest one they're going to get? Like, I don't know, maybe not. So the question is, how can we make it even better? And therefore you just increase your chances of getting the job, right? That's the whole goal here. So the like this clip, while strong, is, and the thing is like Riot, I think Riot kind of likes the things in isolation sometimes, but they're not going to be like, oh, this is a fully designed gameplay clip, therefore I don't like it. Like they're not going to say that to themselves. So I'm just thinking from their gameplay tests I've seen over and over again, like their sound design tests. It's like, here's a single ability from a champion in League, and that's kind of all you get, right? But anyway, yeah, just flow-wise, I really feel like these two clips just blew by, and it stuck out enough that we're talking about it this long. So maybe there's something there. Who knows? Yeah. Anyways, so into the next part though. So South of Heaven. Let's have a look at this again. So, okay, 1 second. South of Heaven, you said Unity-wise. This might not be enough information, because we scrolled down. I mean, we took a look at your portfolio stuff before the video, which I would say is probably not generally what would happen. Generally, people would like just click play on the video because it's in their face and they have limited time and they got to like go through 100 more reels after yours and before yours. So they're just going to press play. So we had the luxury, the unusual luxury of knowing that you made this game using Unity to learn more about things. That said, we don't know, rather, if someone comes in and watches this for the first time, they will probably not know that. They will not know this is a personal project that you took on, you know, because you just wanted to, just of your own volition. You just did this thing to learn more. And in that respect, like, what all did you do? Did you do the... So you made this game using Unity. You did the whole thing? Like, you did all the coding, all the everything? If you did this entire game, you should be saying that in this reel. Or is this like a downloadable thing that you replace sounds in? So yeah, you made the whole thing. Dude, like... This reel exists to pump yourself up. So you should absolutely be saying, like, code, you know, say everything you did and say personal project, because this kind of thing, like, people don't make their own game. That doesn't happen at all. Like, it's so rare to see applications where the sound of the reel on the whole is solid and also they made their own shit. Like, it's not common at all. So you should absolutely say personal project here. And then, like Josh says, say sound design plus level design plus gameplay scripting. Like, put it all there. Honestly, like, pat yourself on the back big time. You need to, you know, stretch this thing out, put it here instead, this little orange guy, put it here, and fill this with personal project and all of the things you did. Okay? It's a big deal. This should be a focus, because yeah, I think I have notes certainly with how this project sounds, but who cares? Like, who cares actually? It does not matter. If you make your own thing, you absolutely get a pass. People are not going to be like, could sound better. They're going to be like, oh my God, like, this guy made his own thing. That's amazing. That's great. That's very, very good. It stands out in a huge way. So this, while this could be like some friends thing that you did some sound in, that's way different than I made this myself to learn about the industry, to like learn about the craft. Huge. Because this, and then at that point, this, when you say personal project and all these things you did, this is a perfect example of the kind of thing that would invite further attention. Like, if I saw that, I would absolutely be like, oh man, like, Valentin, holy, let's have a look. Let's scroll down and learn more. And the thing is, you have more here to learn. So let's click this. These tunes?
Hi, in this small video I will showcase how I approached the sound design behind the combo mechanic for my micro game South of Heaven. The main idea behind the combo mechanic is that the more you hit the enemies, the more powerful your attacks become. In Unity, I simply added a sliders on the player's UI that fills when you hit an opponent and reset to 0 if you get hit. The combo sliders value multiplies the player's damage output, which is 10 by default. So if your combo value is at 5, you'll deal...
This video is insane. It's so crazy. Oh man, these smooth jams in behind the speech.
50 damages, and for a combo value of 8, you'll deal 80 damages. So if you manage your attacks well and avoid getting hit, you can reach a level of power where even the basic skeletons can get killed in one stroke. The power that the combo gives to the player was something that I wanted to emphasize on my sound design approach of the microgame.
Where's this music from? Like, what is happening? I love it. I love it so much. Good job. So, okay, first off, there you go. Okay, yeah, so nice. Oh, there are subs too. Okay. Yeah, I mean, your English isn't that, your accent isn't that hard. I got it all. Although I also, I don't know, I guess Canada again. You know, I hear the occasional French accent here. Yeah, so, I mean, nice. Good job. And this is just the video or just the game? Or is this you talking again? Okay, similar clips. I saw these clips previously. So yeah, I mean, nice work. You can download the game too. Killer. Yeah, awesome. Super cool. Let's talk about like sound stuff a little more though in this actual reel. So so material selection, yes, you have these 2 clips opening that are obviously AAA. I mean, obviously. And then 2 more things that are more gameplay oriented. I think you could swap out your gameplay stuff and have either the same thing in a longer clip or just like a different clip that shows these kind of things in context, like this in context. Because this in isolation is not the most common thing in a game. Typically it's heard like with other things happening. It is much more work, but it comes across just much stronger. You know, for sure it's better than this kind of thing. And then end clip, I mean, yeah, super cool. That you know, give it a spotlight for sure. I mean, 20 seconds is fine, or 15 or whatever it is. Yeah, strong. Really strong. Let's go ahead and talk audio specifically. Great. One thing I didn't mention is you did remove the titles after a while. I don't think you have to. Like maybe right before the next one. Like here kind of thing. Up with the new one. Yeah, moving on.
In 50 meters, turn left on Fox Street.
If footsteps are off, Justin, it might be due to me because I've got to accommodate for this sidechain to work. I need to route the audio from my PC into the Mac through a track so it can like be keyed into the compressor. So my mic can be keyed into the PC's audio. So it's effectively getting delayed twice. I'll disable that for a second. So now you're hearing direct audio instead. Let's have a look. Yeah, I guess it's loose. We'll get back to that.
In 50 meters, turn left on...
So there's one thing that stands out to me more than anything else, I think, and I heard it in mostly the first and this clip also, is it's really, really common, it comes up all the time on Real Talk. I think you're leaning on your reverb more than you have to. Yeah, it's just, it's so tempting. You turn the reverb on, you're like, oh my God, it sounds so juicy, so rich, so full. And you just give it more. And it's a mistake. Don't do it. When I was in audio school, my audio engineering teacher, Sean Cole, production, I guess it was, he said that a good rule for reverb is to put it where you think it's perfect and then pull it back like 10 to 20%. And that's probably where it's actually perfect. Because again, your brain, it's like a psychological thing that happens. You fool yourself into thinking it sounds like sweet. And actually it just ends up being kind of detrimental. It ends up being a disservice to your entire mix. It ends up being distracting, or it washes things out or masks other things or just clutters the mix, muddies things up. So, I mean, here, we'll play this for you right here one time. And just pay attention to like the bed this whole sound design is sitting on top of. Like it is not egregious. It is just like a little more than you need probably. Like this is such a nitpick. I mean, that just is a that's a commentary on the quality of your entire reel, right? It's very strong in the whole. But yeah, when it comes in like here, that room is like so roomy, and then even here, again, it's not brutal. Just listen to the reverb only, like the space we're in. even that whoosh, you know, down here, it is also roomy. And like, why is it roomy? You know, for that kind of movement, this entire sequence is very much about like these precise movements, like the movements of the characters being well calculated and precise. And also the camera movement is very like, we're here, now we're there, now we're there. It's very kind of jumpy. So the idea of like a whoosh with a tail that tails off is kind of, it's not really directly representative, or doesn't reflect and mirror what is happening in the cinematography, like as far as how the clips are jumping around. We have this movement from up here to down there. Watch how quick this is. We're there, right? It's very like it's decisive, right? And your whoosh, if we hear it by itself, again, close your eyes right now, right? Like that whoosh there is absolutely not decisive. It's very, I would call it like, it's not confident. Just sort of hangs out back there, like a, or and with a hard end. Not unlike what you did for this tear off, like this end right there, to be stops here. That's going to be way more decisive. And again, super nitpick, but this is where I would recommend that you start thinking about your design, not from just, does it sound cool, but is it appropriate in terms of the creative direction, the audio direction of the project? Because the audio direction of a project is informed by the overall, like the umbrella creative direction of the project, right? And the creative direction here is informing the cinematography and like the movement of the camera and such. So you need to, in turn, also be informing your work from the same standpoint. And even in terms of like the background ambience here, let's talk about that for a second. Let's hear. So right here, this ambience is kind of city wash. There's a bit of people in there. I don't see people though. So the question is, do we need people in that ambience? Because are the people helping tell the story? And I don't know that they are, because I see 0 people apart from our two heroes, you know, two hero characters in the shot. I mean, what is the surface we're running on here? Like cobblestone or something? It looks like, you know, kind of brick or something like that. It would seem. Looks pretty cobbly to me. So the footsteps here, I'm not fully getting, because this first, there's a lot of verb there. It sounds a little more like warehouse to me, or like parking garage. More warehouse. There's a little more like metal in there. Yeah, if you close your eyes there, I don't know that I'm getting like alleyway reverb. Maybe some more slap back as it kind of hits the walls back and forth. That might be worthwhile. And again, it's really it dominates the mix, like the reverb there. As far as the footsteps mix, right? One more time. There's a lot there. So this shot here is certainly about the running a little bit, being here, but this is the center. And we don't really hear that movement until it's like really close. Like there even. And even there, the whoosh is a little more kind of left and right. So we're talking like real detailed here as far as reflecting what we're seeing specifically. It's, in this case, what I might do is have it, it's quite distant, so it's point source, because it's far away. You know, the farther things get away, the more point source the sound becomes. So, or the more mono it becomes. And then come down and like hit, and then maybe become expansive. So then we introduce more width on the sound. But instead, we have this like kind of left and right, a lot right actually. And then it hits, and it's in front of us at that point. It's almost like a reverse. We have this like big whoosh, and then boom in the middle. It's potentially like you could maybe do that if the entire thing is really cartoony and kind of like if the entire piece is designed such that like the location doesn't really matter, and almost like a cartoon where we're just like putting sounds on the thing and like it's just like some big whoosh and it's there for just to illustrate some or to support some movement of any kind, then yeah, you might be able to get away with that because the entire piece supports that. But in this case, it's a little more like, again, decisive and specific. I think you could probably be a little more like, no, the camera's here. We are listening from this perspective, so let's have it over there. It'll land, explode, and it'll get wide at that point. I can't hear what the original sounds like in my head right now. I definitely watched it when it came out, but I suspect that's probably what they did too. The bow emergency for slapback would use pre-delay and automation on reverb or a separate delay effect. Good question. I mean, there's plenty of like convolution verb options for that kind of thing. You could certainly delay it too, though. Just have like a delay and turn it way down, and do a super fast slapback or something like that, like a multi-tap. And pre-delay works too. But yeah, it really comes down to like just testing things out and seeing if it makes sense. Like even just browsing patches, this is an option as far as reverb goes. I really recommend just closing your eyes all the time. Like close your eyes all the time when you're designing and say, does this make sense as far as what we're seeing versus what we're hearing? So here, these footsteps are, someone said slappy in the chat, and clappy said J-on. Yes, XX J-on XX. I'm inclined to agree. I think that these footsteps don't they don't super tell me like power and agility. Could have a little more like doof in there, just a little more doof to have a bit more of that strength implied. Like does not sound powerful to me. This moment here of like lining up in this position, it doesn't really like the footsteps, the strength and the solidity of the feet don't really tell me that this person's going to be able to jump onto a rooftop. Does that make sense? Like it doesn't really doesn't spell out strength and power. There's a bit more at the very end, the last footstep, but it's not much. Tap. It's there, but it's not much. Missing clothes fully. Yeah, it's an option too. Yeah, a little more like, I mean, this is so much of the screen. Like, look at this. It's like, it's the entire screen is the running. So probably room for some more detail in the clothes. We're getting a lot of fire right now, right? Listen to that. The fire is relevant, sure. But, yeah, I'm just not hearing what's in front of us, which is probably the most important thing. I do appreciate that you're having things like the fire in the mix, because, yeah, it's certainly part of the story at this point, sure. But even being left might be worthwhile here. It's kind of both sides. Yeah, it's putting Foley in and then like just undermixing things in general, it's tricky because just like voiceover is a similar problem, or challenge rather, where if you mix things in and then you start adding more and more elements, they might disappear in the mix. But the thing is, what it sounds like. So there's almost this like psychoacoustic property to it, or phenomenon, where you're hearing it because you know what it sounds like. And I mentioned voiceover. This comes up a lot in, for example, that Darkest Dungeon trailer we just watched at the beginning of the stream. Wayne June uses a lot of kind of flowery, unusual vocabulary. And it's important for us to make sure those are understood. And there was a lot of detail where I spent like, probably 4 hours on just voiceover detailing. Because Jeff, my partner, did most of the work on that trailer. And I came in and just like detailed things out. Because yeah, it comes down to it. Like, I wouldn't trust myself if I did the entire mix and then I had the voiceover in there, because like I've heard the voiceover 1,000 times while mixing this piece. So having someone come in fresh who like hasn't heard it 1,000 times might go like, oh, actually, like I can't hear that F at all on that word. Like, you know, what are they saying there? What are they even saying? And then you come in and it's like, pump up the F, or even like replace the F in Isotope with a more healthy F sound that's like, you know, a little more full bodied. Like all these things, it comes down to like tricking yourself into hearing your mix with fresh ears in some way. Like go make a sandwich and listen to it through the door, or like hear it on different systems, or when you're tired, or when you're drunk. Like there's like a lot of different ways you can do this to kind of like just gut check and see if you can actually hear it. Because yeah, I mean, I don't hear the Foley at all, Valentin. Like I don't hear any Foley, and zero. And like you know what's there. You can probably even hear it because you know what it sounds like. But like, yeah, I hear nothing. So it's a tricky thing that comes with time. And I mean, I'm sure I even still mess it up occasionally just because you need to. You know, it's hard to get completely fresh ears sometimes. So, oh, by the way, I should mention, Tomi. So I'll tell everyone. So Tomi emailed me yesterday, late night my time, and said that they actually landed a QA gig, and that sound design like wasn't the most important thing at this very moment. So I'm actively putting a little more time into Valentin's reel because he is actively looking for work in sound design. So I'll certainly get to you, Tomi, but we'll just put a little more time into this one, yeah. So, I was just looking at the time, just to remind myself I didn't mention that earlier. So let's move on to Batman a little bit.
In 50 meters, turn left on Fox Street.
Cool. I mean, strong. The changes in perspective are really good. I did not think to myself, oh man, that voiceover is bad. I, in fact, didn't acknowledge it at all, which is probably a good thing. I'm curious where the voice came from. Did you just use like a... Let's hear it again.
In 50 meters, turn left on Fox Street.
Just literally text-to-speech? Just on some website? Or something? Let me know. Where's the voice from? I'm curious. Yeah, so here, I think that you still have room to push the dynamics a little more than you have, because these shifts in perspective are really strong. By the way, nice transition, really strong.
In 50 meters, turn left on Fox Street.
So, yeah, there's like, I think you have room for it, honestly. It's already quite strong. This little sequence in particular, we have these zoom-ins. So again, back to the cinematography here, we're focusing really hard on the vehicle, like the Batmobile as a character almost. Right, we're seeing these things happen. And that is a great chance for you to reflect that and focus in really, really hard at like putting that at the front of the mix. It's not like the story here is not the Batmobile's over there and there's some like mechanical articulation happening that's like incidental to the scene. This scene is this mechanical articulation is happening and it's all we care about right now.
Fox Street.
You know? So to that end, you totally have room to pull that bed, like the foundation that you have, like the background ambience and stuff, bring it way down and bring that thing way up. And then once the shot becomes like this again, then yeah, the ambience is certainly important again. You can bring it back up. Why not? This is just a little more, I feel like you might surprise yourself if you just bring, like just that small change, if you just bring the focus of the shot up a little more and the bed down. Just increase that dynamic range. I think you'll be surprised at what comes out, honestly. It's going to be real strong.
In 50 meters, turn left on Fox Street.
Like even here, I like that it turns quiet, but you can probably turn quieter. I like Justin's idea, like saying it's soundproof. I mean, I don't know if it is soundproof, but I feel that might even hurt your crime fighting ability if you can't hear what's outside the Batmobile. But I think, yeah, like even harder, like turn it down even more, the bed.
In 50 meters, turn left on Fox Street.
But it's cool because if the bed's lower, then the movement like that becomes so much, you have more room to be dynamic with it. Because if you have this like underneath, then I mean, you only have so much space above that, like that floor, to add more sound, right? Where if the floor's down here instead, becomes this big moment rather than just like this incidental thing that happened. You turn the wheel, you know?
Left on Fox Street.
And then here, yeah, it's your creative choice. I would fully pull everything down, pull this way up. And here as well, this sound is a little more like I'm down the alley, like listening to a car squeal, like a tire squeal, rather than like this thing is right in front of us. Like in this case, we're gonna hear like this stuff fire, and this like the ground specifically, how the ground responds to that. You know, even syncing wise, I'm gonna turn my sync back on here. We have the tire squeal kind of happening like before it locks, you know? Like the tire squeal would be a result of the brakes locking. But we're hearing it scream before we see the tires actually stop moving. I think we are, at least. You know? Like we have this here, frame by frame. We got, see, like right there, the tire is more, you can see it stopped right there. Before that, it's still in motion, but we're hearing the squeal as soon as we cut to this shot.
Fox Street.
Even before. Yeah. So it's a little more specificity in your design would go a long way because of the specificity of the shots, right? We're seeing this specifically, so we should be hearing it specifically also, and not generally. If we were farther away, then yeah, you could probably get away with that because no one's going to see the tires specifically and like when it stops moving. But yeah, since we're seeing that, it's easy to pick apart because it's just, you know, it's all we're looking at. So moving on, like these clips here, they're okay. Let's just have a glance through it. Again, nice transient here. I love that you're not afraid to use that high frequency stuff. It's great. It shows up throughout your design, and it's a good thing. Yeah, the splode I think could be stronger. It's a little, again, just the reverb is doing it a disservice. It's not doing it any favors. The verb on the explosion, yes, it's far away, but the verb is so high that it's like masking the sound of the explosion, like the direct sound versus the sound of the room. This sound here, you do a great job of having a little more like frequency movement over time in other parts of your design. I mentioned this opening, right, as an example of that. It's great. Great. The explosion kind of doesn't have that, though. There are some different parts that appear throughout the explosion, kind of. It's like, but like, have a little more movement over time would probably help. Oh, and I just realized it's a gun. It's not even the part of the explosion. That's kind of unfortunate because you have this clip now becomes a bit cluttered because you have this gun happening at the same moment as the explosion. And because this clip is so, it is in such isolation We have the, you know, the draw and the, is it drawing or is it reloading? Charging, priming, whatever the verb is. And then we have this gun. I mean, it's like it's 3 sounds that happen, right? It's like, I guess 4, you know, prime, shoot, explode, and like the gun. But this is like stomping on the explosion. So it's just not ideal. Again, I don't really see the value in tearing this clip apart too much, because I just think it could be a stronger clip. Yeah, I think you could choose a better one. The last thing. So let's talk about South of Heaven really fast. South of Heaven, sorry. Again, the reverb thing is again an issue. I'm not surprised. It's a pretty common affliction to your work, it would seem. I would recommend looking. Well, here's a question: like, what is the audio direction of this project? And it's your project, so I'm curious if you took steps to decide that kind of thing. Like, did you, did you make like a tone board? Actually, here, you know what? I can. Maybe I won't show it. I'm thinking I did a talk at SFU. Is it online? I think it's online now, actually. Maybe I can show it. I'm just thinking of NDA stuff. I don't need to show it specifically. So the thing is, I did a talk at Simon Fraser University recently, and well, I mean just virtually, right? And part of that conversation was regarding creative direction. You know, Disco Eternal. We're doing Tomi soon. We're just taking more time on Valentin because, well, Tomi is not like actively looking for work, and Valentin is. So regarding creative direction, so it's important to establish like a tonal target. So for example, with Industries of Titan, it's like a distant future cyberpunk city builder with like factory and content or combat gameplay as well. That takes place on Titan, the moon of Saturn, and so we have our art director Antoine, he made a mood board basically that was like, okay, we have like present Earth to like distant future, and we have like goofy to serious, and we put a bunch of different kind of projects in that area to say, oh well, this is like Children of Men is like present Earth and extremely serious. Prometheus is like very distant futuristic world and also very serious. But then we have films like Demolition Man or like The Fifth Element or Starship Troopers or Judge Dredd that are like more future than now, not crazy future, but more future, and they're also like very goofy. So for us, we're like, well, you know what? We're not an extremely serious game. We can have the occasional joke, but it's and it's also like pretty distant future worlds. We have like this kind of target of like the timeline as well as the general mood, like the seriousness of it, and even that can help inform things on the audio side of things, because we have sounds like, well, do we want to have like a squeaky toy or like mechanical like ratcheting sound for a UI sound? And like that's a real question you need to ask yourself. You might not actively ask yourself that question, but it is something that happens internally when you're designing sounds for a project. So for something like this, like what kind of projects may have inspired the sound design for South of Heaven? Is it games like Dark Souls, or is it games like Rayman? Because Rayman is like very rounded, very like, like it's very xylophones and like bouncy and rounded out. Whereas Dark Souls is very like visceral and a little more gritty and relentless sometimes. So in that sense, also everything's big in Dark Souls. Like you kill a minor enemy, it's like it's like big sound. So with this one, listen to your reverb, man. Listen to it. So much verb. These impacts. Okay, so 2 things. I'm a big fan of having enemy reactions a bit after the impact, as opposed to the same time as the impact, for both storytelling purposes and also for prevention of clutter. Because if you have two sounds playing at the same time, it's going to be more, there's more things happening now versus like hit and now we have the vocal reaction. It's like bata rather than at the same time. So with this, we're hitting. It's like dun dun, same hit, same time as the hits. Versus like, right? You have a little more of a story being told there. It's better for phrasing. It's a small detail, but I would recommend it. The other thing is these impacts. I don't feel super powerful from the sound. It's a little slappy. We have a slicing sword here, and although yes, it's a skeleton, I think you still have room to be a little more stylized with it. If you're thinking Dark Souls, like Dark Souls hits are really, really satisfying. That game sounds great. Or the game series, everything from Software sounds really good. I'd recommend if you're thinking Dark Souls, I would recommend like just go reference it. Be like, what's that sound like? Literally record the sound in game or from a gameplay clip and pull it into like RX or something and look at the frequency content and how it moves over time and how they made that. And then try and make it yourself. It's not like you're copying them. You're merely using existing content to like inform your own education and just adding to your own toolkit as far as what you can build in the future. I mean, I do that all the time. Pull in what someone else did and say, how'd they do that? Especially when it's new territory for you. So the last bit here. Pretty cool. I like it. Just again, Verb is dominating the mix. Reverb is the name of the game, it would seem. So we'll probably wrap it there, I think, as far as your stuff. Move on to Tomi briefly. Really strong, man. Super strong. I mean, we were talking some real nitpicky stuff in there, which I love doing. I love when it's strong enough we can move into that kind of specific conversation rather than being like, you should have titles on your work. It's a little more fun for me too. So thank you so much. Great work. I think just a few tweaks here and there, and it's going to be even better. I mean, the thing is, the fact you made this yourself, like the game yourself, and you're putting sound in it yourself, like Josh was saying, it shows you have interest and aptitude for the craft of making games further than simply making sounds or even like hooking up sounds in Unity. Like you have knowledge beyond the sound side of things in Unity. So that's awesome. So to that end, I think you are standing out in a very big way. And I mean, you can only get better from here and have a better chance. You could probably be hired right now, honestly, but just in terms of, there was a lot of competition out there. So, couldn't hurt to make yourself even better, Why not? Why not? Really good. Nice work. Okay. Tomi, thank you for waiting. Kiitos. So let's have a glance. We got Tomi Porkka. We got home projects about. Hi, my name is Tomi, a game developer from Espoo, Finland. I've been to Espoo. You know that? I spent like 2 weeks in Espoo with some pals sleeping on their couch in a basement. It was a lovely town, lovely time. And went from there, spent a couple days in Helsinki, and then went to Turku. Great time. So I grew up playing drums, guitar, and video games as I developed a passion for all things games and audio. While I was studying as an engineer with a major in games, I realized I could use my passion for hitting things to make sounds and started to dabble in sound design. Very nice. Really, I could use my passion for hitting things to make sounds. Yes, okay, excellent. My favorite sounds in games are tasty footsteps and delicious ambiances. It's really cute. Main skills, Reaper, Wise, Unity, Field Recording, Basic C#. Cool. Good. We got a mail to link. Yeah. We got a YouTube link. Yeah. And we have a downloadable Wipe It by Barracuda Disaster on itch. Okay. That game was to be Wipe It, the cleansing of the butt. Very nice. Very good. Okay, let's have a look at... This is like the most Finnish picture, by the way. Like all my Finnish friends, this looks like all my Finnish friends. Like, honestly, this is... do you happen to, or have you happened to cross paths with Jonas Turner, Tomi? Jonas is the best. I love him with all my heart. And I mean, he made that game Tormentor X Punisher, where you travel to planet fuck you and you defeat demons. Right? Like, as I was saying, this is the way of the Finns, it would seem. And I am here for it. It's awesome. Let's go ahead and go full screen, shall we? And I'll turn my sidechain off. Excellent. We're good. Let's go. Josh! Josh is happy. Cool. Fun. Yeah, so none of this stuff though. What the heck? We got no utter distress. We got okay, so developed with Barracuda Disaster, a company where I was co-founder from 2017 to 2020. That's not nothing. What the heck? Spud. Oh, Solar Panic Utter Distress. Okay, I see. Excuse me. It's a first-person comedy adventure game. Let's see this. What is this?
What a night you had. You were absurdly intoxicated, sir.
For a second, I was like, whose quote is that? It worked.
Hey, wanna strap in?
This huge lug is a retired thief.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Okay, yeah, so the thing is, you could absolutely show this kind of game in your reel, Tomi, if you're looking for a larger studio gig. Because if you, I mean, like we just saw in Valentin's work, I mean, you've some postal there, eh? You've got like, what is please? this game is nuts. Okay, so like we just saw in the previous reel, you can show that you're obviously interested in the AAA side of things, and then you can just say, oh, and by the way, I have a strong foundation with like this kind of work that we built ourselves. It's not without value. It's actually very valuable. Totally. Goes a long way. Because compare that kind of foundation to, hey, like, here's my reel. I've done nothing ever in the industry, right? Like, showing you've shipped a game yourself is huge. It's very, very big. Because that means you likely already speak the language of a lot of the rest of the team you might end up working with. Huge. I mean, it goes a long way because it's comparing the potential of a team. Okay, if there's a large team hiring, they can hire person A or person B. Person A has never worked in video games before, but their work is very strong. Like their demo reel is strong. We'll say it looks just like yours, right? It is identical to your demo reel. And then we have you, who has the same demo reel, but you've worked in games for, what, 4 or 5 years now? Or I'm not sure that's when you began or not. But at least 2017, right? At least that long. And they don't need to invest time in you to make you understand what it's like to work in a studio, or to ship a game, or to talk to a coder, or to even understand some code. There's like all these pluses to your character that you're just not really displaying in your sound design reel. Because I recommend again and again to think of your reel as potentially the only thing they're gonna see. And like I've said in the past, there's like there is a person out there who applied to Power Up back when we were hiring, and we got like a lot of reels and looked at each one for limited time naturally. And that person is now doing awesome work at a AAA company, like in a high level position. And we didn't hire them. We passed over them. And it's because we didn't spend enough time looking at them. We just didn't know. We didn't learn hard enough. The reel was just crafted in a way that didn't fully encapsulate them. So it's, yeah, I just think that this is the place. This is the place to really, sound your own horn and say how awesome you are in every way you can in the minute. Just push it all. So, I mean, the work is strong though. Nice work. Let's just glance at this really fast. Let's go. Yeah, I joked about Josh loving this clip because, well, he always yells out when he sees Metro. He's always happy. This stab is pretty. I feel like I could use a little more stab there. It's like it's a little more like hitting a wooden block or something, like a tree with a hatchet. A little more squish would be nice. But I don't know. Maybe you want to have a wooden face of this guy. It's kind of there's something to that too. Nice panning on the drips. Very nice. Yeah, strong. Really strong. There's that juicy ambience you were talking about, right? There's a juicy footsteps and delicious ambiences. Delicious ambience. Nice work. Yeah, there's a lot of ambience here. I don't know what the mix sounds like in the game, actually. Tasty and delicious, sure. I feel like you probably have more room to focus on the player character. Because, I mean, you want that big, dangerous space. I mean, the room's coming down around you, obviously. It's coming down in your head. But I think it's still probably important to try to make sure that Lara's sounds are there as feedback to the player. Like when you jump, or when you land, or when you like grab on an edge, swing on a bar, whatever it is. Yeah, it's all there. I can hear it. It's just, I think you have a little more room to just do this, a little bit. But strong. Cool. I have no huge notes here, honestly. Like even the gun there is kind of like it's almost being lost in the room, Right here. I didn't even hear this gunshot of this enemy the first time. I did not even acknowledge it. And that's the kind of thing that's like damn important for the player to hear. It's very important to hear that you're being shot at right now. So yeah, the room, I mean, you're obviously showing off your delicious ambiences, and I can't fault you for that too much, because ambience is very rarely pushed too hard. It's usually not there at all. So. Yeah, pretty cool. I feel like it's quite like high midi though. Is there room for more lows in there? Maybe. No, I guess there's like there is something there. Here, 1 second. Here's the low. EQ on my main output. 1 sec. All right, yeah. So here's the low. All right. Turn this off. Oh, why on the main out, not on the frickin' PC aux, Kevin? What are you doing? Yes. Even like this, my inclination here is to let's try something really fast. We got a couple minutes. My inclination is to pump up your bass just a hair, and bring down like 300. That's what that's like I'm a one-trick pony. That's all I ever do. Pump up the bass, bring down 300. That's my job. Did that help at all? Who knows? All right. Well, yeah, I feel like, so I think it's not as much like you have no lows. I think that over time, the ambience is being kind of defined by these hero moments, like the explosions in the wall and stuff. You know? We're back out here again. It's like this nonstop scattering of rocks and stuff. Yeah, it just feels like maybe you have room to pull down and have a little more space there. Yep, it's tricky because like the story is there is arguably about the fact the room is coming down around you. So yeah, hard to say. Yeah, cool. I haven't seen that clip in a while. I want a little more metal here. This splo didn't feel like it was telling me the story of the contents of it, you know? You know, it's like that's nice though. Little whistle in there. Yeah, like did it blow up and it's full of, you know, like rock candy? Or is it full of horrible metal ball bearings? Maybe a little more kind of metallic stylizing in there might be worthwhile to help tell the story that this is going to mess him up if he's not careful. Yeah, and like this design here, pretty cool. It definitely is coming across a little more abstract than it is synced. You know, we're hearing like like kind of that ratcheting. It's there, but it's still, it wasn't quite. You didn't quite sell me on the idea that we're hearing this. You know. It seems like it's kind of this like abstract like design of this thing cinematically, and being in slow motion, it's there's a little more challenge there naturally, and but it just being kind of like just left and right synth whatever, it's yeah, just not quite landing. I don't think I think a little more high end is maybe an idea there, Edward, and even a little more like. If we hear it moving from start to finish, more specifically, like this here, for example, like we didn't hear this. It's like a little flash. You know, like this flash here didn't happen. So because we're missing like the specifics of the kind of the movement here, it's like the once over, and then it's like one more over. There you go. Finishes up over here. We have that kind of like correlation of right side panning. Here we have this like the fist is covered, done, and then we have a little more kind of to follow up, like right and center, and then left we have the same sound for a longer period of time to cover the face. And in that, to that end, we'd have a little more like grounding in the actual shot and in space too. I do like the textures you've made, pretty cool. Just a matter of, because you have sold us thus far earlier in the clip that we are in fact hearing the scene, right? We're hearing this. That's an important distinction to make. We're not just doing like a general synth, like abstract expression of the visuals. We are hearing the scene. So since you've established that, that's why it kind of breaks down later on, as we have, we're just not hearing it. This is like very slow moving kind of thing in the ratcheting, but in reality, it's not slow moving. There's kind of like ebbs and flows and peaks and valleys to the movement. So yeah, that might be something worth looking at if you're looking to fix it up. And also, if you're looking to get into the sound design later on, I mean, QA is a great gig to use to get there. I mean, we were talking to Felipe, is it Felipe or Philippe Pereira? Felipe, I think is right. At Obsidian, and he was saying that at Blizzard he got to start just doing QA there, like QA localization, I think, on the WoW team, and then just made some friends on the Heroes of the Storm team and did sound things, and then got a gig in the sound department. So that is not an unprecedented way in. It does happen. I think Matt Martinson also got to start doing QA at EA and then moved into the sound space. So yeah, it has certainly happened before, if that's the way you want to do it. So anyways, thanks, Tomi. That was a quick one, just blasting through it. But if you have any more questions or anything after the fact, hit me up on DM, whatever. Happy to chat. Or email, I guess, is better for you. So, okay, we're going to wrap there. Next week, 2 weeks, rather, next Real Talk, next segment, we have 2 guest hosts, actually. We're going to have, I haven't put this on Twitter or anything yet, but we're going to have Brian Higa, who is on the PlayStation team. And he and I were in the same gang audio demo derby at GDC in 2012, believe it or not. That's pretty crazy. It's going back a ways. And so Brian will be joined by, or rather we will be joined by both Brian and also Kristen Quinn, who is now audio director at Polyarch, working with Stephen Haughty there, I believe. If Stephen's still there, I think Stephen's still working with them. And was previously of Riot Games and Kristen's been around the industry for a while, so I'm jacked to have him on. It's going to be good. So I guess I'll see you all then. Back to, do we dare play this and hopefully it plays from here? Let's go. We're doing it. Bean JJ, what's up, yo? Hanging out, hiding amidst the game folks. You're certainly welcome to this crowd. Absolutely. Bean JJ, where's the Frozen ads? My question. Yeah. So, right. Quick note here. Before we head off. So Bean actually was involved in making some pretty sick Celeste mods and music and so forth, along with Frozen Flygon. And they are actually so sick. Like, the whole dev team was like crazy impressed. So thank you. Cool seeing in the chat. Thank you for making awesome stuff that is relevant to the work I've done. So it's always amazing to see that kind of thing. Okay, so we'll see you in 2 weeks for Brian and Kristen, and I'll call it there. If you want to submit to Real Talk, feel free to submit to Twitter down below or email via our website. It's all good. I actually need to go through a backlog of folks who have submitted their own work. We're currently booking into like June, I think. There's like 4 or 5 people that submitted. I need to schedule in. So I'll do that maybe right now. Okay, thanks everyone. We'll see you next time.